All right, league season is in effect. Tensions rise. Things happen on the court. We're going to look at plays today that can help us through in those situations. How many plays? 5 plays. Let's go. Stick around. Greetings. Welcome back to 5 Play Friday. We're looking at play scenarios today. Let's do it without delay. You make the call play. What do you have on this very first play? All right, dead ball contact. Is this an intentional technical foul? Is this a flagrant technical foul? Put your ruling down in the comments below. Is this just simply an intentional technical, or is this a flagrant act? Make your ruling, and we'll review the play. So stick around till the end of the video where we review play number 1. But with that, we're moving on now to play number 2. All right, so excellent start to our scenario here, right? So we have a it's ruled a hand check foul by the defender. The fouled player, knowing they're near the sidelines, jumps up into the air, throws the ball off the opponent in a dead ball situation. The officials assess a player technical foul for that. Certainly, oftentimes your game is going to dictate whether this was an action, right? The habitual action of the player who's potentially going out of bounds is, hey, I'm going out of bounds, I want to throw it off my opponent, right? But the whistle caused the ball to become dead. The officials need to make a judgment in this situation about whether to penalize that action. And in this instance, they assess a player technical foul, and that's certainly justified in this situation. If the feeling was that the intent was to harm, like throw it on at the player's face while they're on the floor or what have you, a flagrant can be brought into the game as well. But in this situation, the officials simply assess a dead ball technical foul, and I agree, 100%. Certainly an option in this scenario. Our crew is very effective in their communication. Hey, you report, then I'll report. We move in the other direction. Our trail official a little confused about what's going to happen next. But this is sort of a meat and potatoes technical foul situation. We know we have a foul. We know we have a subsequent technical. Assuming we're not in the bonus or approaching the bonus, then we can simply handle things, sort of business as normal without a lot of crew communication. Does this rise to the level of, no, we need to send the teams to their benches, figure out exactly what we're going to do, etc.? Again, assuming that we're not in the bonus. Of course, if we were in the bonus, then we would need to do things in the order of occurrence. Yeah. Yeah. Well handled by our crew in this situation. Hey, appreciate you joining us for 5 Play Friday. This is a show where we try to analyze game videos so that we can get better as basketball officials. Looking at all the things, thinking things through on video, seeing habits and fundamentals that we can avoid or adopt so that we can have a more successful game. Let's move on to our next play. All right, fast break, hard foul. Now, first of all, this court, come on now. That pillar. What? Oh my gosh, that is a dangerous situation. You could put padding on that thing, but that is a dangerous situation. That's all I'm going to say about that. There's edges on that pillar. It's like, wow. Yeah, so we've got a breakaway. New lead, doesn't pull up, tries to maintain the open look. Hard foul, player goes to the floor. Did the ball go in? Does the lead know? Right? Want to close down on that situation quickly. Crew communication about what do you have on this play? And of course, did the ball go in? If I'm the center official here, hey, the ball went in, right? And does this rise to the level of an intentional foul? Does it meet the criteria? Does it fit the game, etc.? In this instance, the official said no. This was just to be a shooting foul in this instance, and did not rise. You could say it was fairly reckless activity by our defender. Really had no chance to block. Kind of threw their hips into the airborne player. Do we consider that the danger posed by the court, is that our factor in our decision making on a play like this? I can say it certainly comes into play when we're dealing with tight end lines and hard fouls that cause players to hit the wall hard. I'd say that's certainly going to flavor our decision making in these situations. Lee does a great job of closing down opposing players. Everybody, here's your shoe, bro. Oh, I missed the shoe. Ay. When does the shoe come off? Oh, got stepped on. Depending on so it looks like we're just starting the third period. There's no fouls in the period, right? Depending on the temperature of the game, what plays have we had previously are going to influence our decision here as well. But crew comes together, communicate. That ball went in, partner, right? So the lead can go report. Common foul is the ruling, and that was well officiated by our crew. We like to use the expression, what do we have on this play? Well, you know what we have at A Better Official? We've got a tremendous group of show supporters, and let's see who's up on the show supporter big board this week. Dakota Ted, Jeff Crawford, David Peterson, Robert Adams, and Maureen Mooney. Much appreciated and much love. You want to support the show? I will ensure there is a link down in the show notes below, and I'll tell you what, I'm going to put one up above. All right, let's move on to our next play. All right, a great play for review. A lot of things to look at here on this play. Let's start with the beginning, right? So we have red 11. Pass to the wing, player drives. That player is tripped. That is illegal contact. Our lead puts a whistle on the play. We've got the lead and trail moving. Is our center engaged in this situation? Got a lot of great athletes on the floor. This looks like a high-level game. Want to be really connected here. That is a tripping action, right? We have a teammate of the fouling player steps over another player. In many instances, this leads to retaliatory action, right? We need to be aware of these things occurring. In this instance, he was just sort of at his feet, right? I do not like our engagement by the center here. When our other officials are moving, we've got to be super engaged. A great technique would be to ensure as center you step into the arc at minimum, right? And stay engaged. We have an agreement, right? As a crew, we have an agreement, right? In 2-person and in 3-person. In a situation where in 2-person, I'm the calling official and I'm going to report. Here's our agreement, right? We're both responsible for watching the players. But I tell you what, I need to take a little time out from that responsibility and go report. So you have to watch players for me. You have to take that responsibility completely. In a 3-person game, a call by the lead, the trail and the lead are moving, right? As trail to new lead, we'd want habits that open us up to observe players, but our center official has to recognize when the other 2 officials are moving, we have got to be super engaged and aware of what's going on, because they are going to be, our reporting official is going to be out of the equation potentially, and our other official who's moving will be less able, right? So we need to be super engaged. So on this play, we've got the foul. Our defender does not feel like he fouled. He says, he tripped. He tripped on my foot. I didn't trip him, right? And we've got this action here. What led up to it? What did we not see? This bump right here by red 11, right? We did not observe that as a crew. Oftentimes what we see is the retaliatory action. We see the retaliatory action. We are going to assess a penalty related to what we see, right? But sometimes we miss the thing that led to the retaliatory action. I would assume these players have had some energy between them throughout the game. That would just be an expectation based on this scenario, right? So takeaways here. We have to be engaged as the non-calling official and the non-moving official here, and be aware of what is occurring in this dead ball situation, right? The old adage, when the ball is dead, we become live, etc. This is where it comes, the rubber meets the road. This is where we have to be good. And when we are good, right, if we could see this first bump and either address it or assess a penalty to it, right? When red 11 here, right, we got clapping, this bump here, that's obviously an intentional action, right? If we come in and address that immediately, then, potentially we avoid, etc. So that would be a takeaway for me on this play. When the ball is dead, we become live, but seeing it in practice, right? In situations where we have potentially missed something, and it's going to happen. It's going to happen in your game. We can't always see everything, but if we develop a sense of understanding, what is my role in this situation right now? What is my role? My part, one official is going to go report, one official is going to move to administer the foul, and what's my role? Am I just like, right? Find things to officiate and be really good in dead ball situations, and the game will appreciate it. Yeah, we're moving on. Let's look at our next play. All right. Well, all right. So a fight scenario, I can certainly appreciate this and the confusion that can reign. We can look at all of the things. We have the advantage of looking at all of the things and analyzing how things should be done correctly. In this instance, our crew awards 2 free throws to White, followed by 4 free throws to the visitors, and resume with a division line throw-in for the visitors. It appears that 3 players were disqualified from the game based on the fact that subsequently they did not appear in the game, from what I viewed. So I think that is the correct assessment of the disqualifications. But let's take a look at the play scenario itself and analyze all of the things. And what are we looking for? All right, mistakes made, but habits and fundamentals that can potentially help us from making mistakes. Okay. Player goes to the basket, rebound, a veritable mugging and throw to the floor, a punch thrown by the offended player. White 0 takes an action on that player who threw the punch. Seems like maybe more than the players were in the huddle, in the scrum there. A couple of players leave the bench for the visitors. It goes unofficiated in this instance. What do we have? What would be our proper adjudication on this play? If we're looking at all of the things. Let's go. All right. Do we have a foul here and then a subsequent technical foul for the throw to the floor? Or is this simply a flagrant action of throwing the opponent to the floor? Is that the foul? Right? That was, we could have a foul first and then something during dead ball. But let's say, is this action rise to the level of a common foul, an intentional foul, or a flagrant foul? In my judgment, this would be a flagrant foul. Is this a fighting action? Right? And does the subsequent reaction by the player cause our original foul to rise to the level of fighting? These are questions we have to answer on a play like this. Right? So we have a situation where our offended player gets up, throws a punch. Right? That's evidenced here. That is definitely a fighting action. Now they were, their teammate was trying to, prevent them from getting back to him, and actually caused him, energy that caused him to miss. Fortunately for us here, and then subsequently, White 0 takes some action there on the player who threw the punch. Okay, so we have fouls by White 42, Black 1, White 0. And then we have players off the bench that's unperceived, that's not perceived by the crew. Well, why would we not perceive by the crew, right? So we have a fight situation that occurs in our game. Let's look at the movement of the officials, right? Our center officials in great position. They see, they detect it going on, etc. And then we have the lead. Trail, actually new lead in this scenario, near the division line, comes in. What we have to do is recognize when, right, we're all moths to the flame, but somebody has to be aware of actions. Now, we've got great action by the assistant coach for White. Right? That's what we love to see from assistant coaches is everybody stay put, right? And that prevents situations, but we've got 2 players or 2 teammates from the visitors who come off the bench. Those players should be disqualified with player technical fouls. As a result, what would be the correct adjudication in this situation? If we had a flagrant foul by white, a fighting flagrant technical foul by black, a retaliatory technical foul, the player seems to be disqualified from it. So let's say that that was considered to be fighting as well right there. What would be the correct adjudication in this situation? And then we've got players coming off of the bench, right? So this presents a messy situation, but one that we're going to have to sort out. What's the information we have, right? So we have the offended player was flagrantly fouled. There are merited free throws that result from that. After that, we've got a fighting action by black 1, and then we have a fighting action by white 0. Those players would be disqualified by rule, but what would be the correct adjudication? How would we handle this? And did our crew get this right? Right? So we're going to have to try to sort things out. If we had simply a flagrant technical foul by white 42, then black has 2 merited free throws as a result. If we have fighting by black 1 and white 0, those would offset, and we would have no free throws related to that activity. We should have 2 flagrant technical fouls assessed to the bench personnel, but the penalty for that would mean only 2 free throws for white. We had nobody leaving the bench for white, right? So we would have 2 free throws as a result of that. The head coach would receive an indirect technical foul as a result of that. And we would do things in the order of occurrence. Black 0's substitute should attempt their 2 free throws. Somebody from white should attempt the 2 free throws related to the bench technicals, and white should have the ball for a division line throw-in. This is not going to be an easy thing to do. I can tell you from personal experience, not going to be an easy thing to do to sort things out and adjudicate in this situation. There's a lot of energy. There's a lot of potentially confusion. But if we could just analyze what we have to do things in the order of occurrence at the National Federation of High School Basketball level. And we're obviously going to do the best that we can, right? We're going to have to be very clear with our scorer exactly what we have. And, the game in this instance can proceed so effectively. So fight scenarios in our game are never easy, present a lot of challenges. Habits and fundamentals, if we can have one official in this instance stay back and observe players coming off the bench, then we have more information. But get together as a crew and sort it to the best of your ability for the game. All right. To start the show, we had a play for a You Make the Call. What did you have on this play? Let's break it down and see what we have on play number 1. All right, a technical foul is ruled. There has been dead ball contact, but what kind of technical foul would we assess in this situation? Is this simply an intentional technical foul, or is this a flagrant technical foul? If we look at the rule for flagrant foul, a flagrant foul may be a personal or technical foul of a violent or excessive nature, or a technical non-contact foul which displays unacceptable contact. It may or may not be intentional. If personal, during live ball, it involves but is not limited to violent contact such as striking, kicking, and kneeing. If technical, it involves dead ball contact or non-contact conduct at any time which is extreme or persistent, vulgar, or abusive conduct. Fighting is a flagrant act. Kicking an opponent, our rule describes that during live ball, it's flagrant. During dead ball, I would consider it to be flagrant as well. And you could say all this, he didn't mean to. It's just like he was just trying to get the player off of him. Kicking an opponent is, in my judgment, a flagrant action. I would have a flagrant tactical foul in this situation, and we would disqualify that player. Any player or eligible substitute could attempt those free throws. That would be my judgment, right? That the kicking action, while our rule describes kicking during live ball, I would say it applies then, therefore, to dead ball situation as well. A flagrant act, what did you have on your ruling on play number 1? It's a good play to see in the wild. All right, after a series of hard fouls, fighting in our game, what do we need? We need a palate cleanser. Let's take a look at a bonus play.
Controls the ball, sneaks under the defense, and does does some nice gymnastics move. Oh my goodness, I've never seen that in a basketball game before. Oh my gosh.
Phenomenal. Phenomenal. The things you see when you're out on the court, right? If you're considering getting into officiating, get into officiating. It's so much fun. There's so many fun things that happen, the environment, etc., players succeeding, failing, excitement, drama, and wild and wacky things that can occur in our game. And we appreciate those when they do. Thanks for joining us today for 5 Play Friday. Much appreciated. If you would do me a favor, hit the like button immediately and directly. It really helps us with the YouTube algorithm. If you also subscribe and notify, you'll not miss out. We live stream 2 times a week, every Wednesday and Friday during the basketball season. So we'll see you there on the live stream. Got a tremendous group of show supporters, and let's see who's up on the show supporter big board this week. Dakota Ted, Jeff Crawford, David Peterson, Robert Adams, and Maureen Mooney. Much appreciated and much love. You want to support the show? I will ensure there is a link down in the show notes below, and I'll tell you what, I'm going to put one up above. We've got it for you. Yeah, we do. We've got additional video content. It's available here. There's 2 videos I've listed here involving hard fouls and intentional fouls and fighting situation. So we can get better. We'll see you in the very next video. Take care, everybody.